A warm welcome to all our viewers on behalf of the Mumbai Research Center. The Mumbai Research Center was formed in 2009 under the leadership of Shri Arun Tikekar, thinker, leading editor as well as journalist of Maharashtra. It was given the mandate to do research on the city of Mumbai as well as the former Bombay Presidency. And since 2009, it has conducted several good programs in both of these areas. Last year, due to the pandemic, we were forced to go online, and during that period, we conducted several academic lecture series as well as non-academic programs, virtual walks, and so on. Such was the response that we got at the local, at the state, national, and international levels that we even decided to do an online festival which we termed Jasn-e-Dastane Mumbai, which was celebrating the story of the city of Mumbai. Unfortunately, the pandemic continues, and therefore we decided that we could have a program, an online program, on even the festival of Gudi Padwa. This year's Gudi Padwa is a very special one. In 2021, both the lunisolar as well as the solar calendars coincide, and a large number of people of different communities that celebrate Padwa across the country, such as the Tamilians, the Telugus, the Malayalis, the Assamese, the Punjabis, etc., will together be celebrating this festival over the next 2 days, that is the 13th as well as the 14th. So what we bring forth to you in this short program is a medley of the kind of celebrations that you are going to witness in the next 2 days, the kind of music that is seen traditionally during this period of time, the rangolis, the food, the clothes, the traditions that are to be associated with all of these communities. So sit back and enjoy, and happy Gudi Padwa, Shubho Nobo Borsho, and of course Gudi Padwacha Hardik Shubhecha.
Hello everyone. After many years, various Indian communities are going to celebrate the new year together on 13th and 14th April this year. It will be Gudi Padwa for Maharashtra, Goa. It will be Poila Boishakh for Bengal. It will be Baisakhi for Punjab. It will be Ugadi in Karnataka, Ugadi in Andhra and Telangana, and Puthandu for Tamil. So let us see how does this happen, and why different communities have been celebrating different New Years, and why it is coming together this time. Okay, so everybody is going to celebrate, and there will be people who will follow this Shalivan Shaka. They will be entering in the year 1943. People observing calendar of Vikram Samvat will be entering into 2078, and of course there will be people who will continue backwards the beginning of time from the Kali era, and 5123rd year will be starting. So is this a rare event that different communities New Year is coming together? Well, no, not quite. Earlier occurrences, if you see, have been in 2002, in 1983, in 1964, 1945, 1926, 1907, and you can even go farther back. You observe that it repeats every 19 years. Of course, the dates that we have taken are from Gregorian calendar that all of us use now. Okay, and many Indian call it still English calendar without realizing the fact that this was old Roman calendar modified by Pope Gregory in late 16th century, and Britain, being Protestant, had not accepted it that time. Okay, eventually they accepted after about 2 centuries. Okay, and it was introduced in India by British, and therefore many of us refer that as English calendar, but well, there is nothing English about it. Earlier people would denote these numbers, like this year is 2021 AD and in Ravini. Okay, but now people call it CE for Common Era. Okay, it is more of non-religious term, and because AD and BC had religious connotations. So let's look at this 19-year behavior. The significance of 19-year cycles is it is observed that after 19 years the phase of the moon matches at the same time of the year. Okay, and so you can do a small quick math that 235 lunar months, each lunar month of about 29.5 days adds up to about 6,939.785 days, okay, approximately 6,940 days. Similarly, 9 tropical years, okay, which is each year is about 365 and 1/4, you count, and that gives you about 6,940 days. The difference is very small, okay, it is just few hours, and so you will have your birthdays by lunar calendar and solar calendar match on your 19th birthday or 38th birthday or 57th birthday, okay, and so on. Okay, so that is something nice coincidence which is happening, and also it is observed by people when it comes to celebrating New Year, whether you are following solar calendar or lunar calendar. So what is a year? Okay, so we know that Earth goes around the sun, okay, and sitting here on Earth, then you may apparently see the sun moving with respect to Earth, okay, with the background of these various constellations. So that path is divided into 12 parts. Each part is called zodiacal sign, and you have various kinds of zodiacal sign like Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, and so on. What is interesting is we may not be looking at stars, okay, but we observe that effect here on Earth in a different way. Earth's axis is tilted, the axis of rotation about itself is tilted with respect to axis of revolution of Earth around the sun. That tilt is about 23.5 degrees that we learn in our geography books. When you look at this picture, okay, we realize when this axis is tilted towards the sun, okay, see in the northern hemisphere the daytime is longer, okay, and the night time is shorter. Okay, the southern hemisphere behavior is going to be exactly opposite, and this causes the heat to increase, and that is typically summer. But this position doesn't remain same as Earth goes around the sun, and what you observe is that though the tilt is same in particular direction with respect to stars, okay, the Earth goes around the sun. So sometimes this northern hemisphere will be tilted towards the sun, okay, that will be summer solstice. Sometimes it will be tilted away from the sun, it is going to be winter solstice, okay, and there are going to be 2 transition periods in between called equinoxes, literally mean equal days and nights. So on 21st March in the Gregorian calendar, 21st, 22nd March, typically we get this equinox, which brings spring, okay, and about 22nd or 23rd of September we get this autumnal equinox that brings autumn. Now spring revives the life, spring revives the nature, okay, and it is for natural that many cultures start their solar calendar beginning at this particular point, okay, at the vernal equinox. So we celebrate in different ways this, okay, but not exactly at the same period. That's because again we have got different types of calendars, and mainly it is because of the solar calendar and the lunar calendar. Okay, before coming to that, let's see 2 different calendars depending on what is the reference point at which you are going to start the year. So there are tropical calendars, they use vernal equinox as the reference point when the Earth comes at that point, okay, or with respect to Earth the sun comes at that point, okay, the new year will begin here on Earth because it will bring the spring. It is also called tropical calendars, okay, and in Indian system it is referred as Sayana Panchang. The Gregorian calendar, for example, is tropical solar calendar. The other kind of calendar mainly used by Indians is sidereal calendar, where we are bothered about the fixed positions of stars, and this uses some fixed point with respect to stars as a reference point. Now what is that point? Okay, we'll see, goes back into history. It is also called sidereal calendar, that is with respect to stars, or Nirayana Panchangs. In India, both lunar and solar calendars are generally sidereal. So though we are talking about solar calendars and lunar calendars, both these calendars come under the same category, that we are referring to particular position of stars. Let's look at that. So this vernal equinox some 2000 years ago matched at this point when it was just coming out of Pisces and going towards Aries. So naturally, when the sun would come over here, you would call it as first point of Aries, okay, and sun would enter first point of Aries, sun would enter the zodiac of Aries, okay, and a new year would start, spring would start. Now, however, this vernal equinox is being shifted deep into the constellation of Pisces, okay, and that happens, the position of vernal equinox shifts because the Earth's axis slowly precesses the way top precesses, and it takes about 26,000 years of Earth's axis to complete one such kind of precision, okay, and so about in 12,000 to 13,000 years from now, the axis will be pointed in the opposite direction. When I say opposite direction, it will be towards the star called Vega, and this is all with respect to plane of Earth's orbit around the sun. Our sun is fixed, stars are fixed, okay, and the axis itself is slowly precessing. Now, that makes this precision of vernal equinox, and it is precision in a backward direction, and we can calculate now, knowing this time period, that around what time in the history the vernal equinox was in which particular position of constellations or position of stars. And there are historical texts which mention that the vernal equinox would have started when the sun would be in Taurus, or they would mention like Kritika, or sun would be in Rohini, and we know now that that will go something around 2000 BC or 3000 BC, which is about 4,000-5,000 years ago. So knowing these references, one can determine, if not when those texts were written, but what period it is referring to. And coming to now our calendars that we are using now, and this new year celebration that we want to have. So there are, for solar calendar, there are 12 zodiacal signs, and sun entering into each particular zodiacal sign, the new month will begin. So sun entering into Aries will start the first month, okay, it is referred as Vaishak in most of the northern places, including Bengal. That's why it's first Paila Boshak, okay, whereas in Tamil Nadu it is called referred to as Chitre or the month of Chaitra. Most other communities also use lunar calendar because it is easy for us to look at the phases of the moon, okay, and keep the times. And when it comes to motion of the moon in the sky, it completes about 27 days, takes about 27 days to complete one revolution, okay, and then that entire path has been divided into 27 parts. Each part is called one nakshatra. So you have Ashwini, Bharani, Kritika, Rohini, up to Revati. Some of you might have learned these by heart, probably in the childhood. And now let's make connection between the two. So how are the lunar months named? Okay, so we know lunar months named as Ashwini, month of Ashwin, or Kartik, or Margashish, or Paush. Okay, so how are they named? So one simplistic logic is, if on a full moon day the moon is near about particular nakshatra, say it is near about Ashwini nakshatra, the month will be called Ashwin. If it is near Kritika nakshatra, month will be called Kartik, and so on. However, there are 27 nakshatras and only 12 months. Okay, so this is not a very precise way of calling particular month by the name of nakshatra when it is especially on full moon day. So astronomers need precision. So more precisely, they have a bit complicated way of defining it. So if sun enters Aries in a particular lunar month, then that month will be called Chaitra. If sun enters Taurus in a particular month, that month will be called Vaishak, and so on. So again, you are using now the information of zodiacal sign. The sun is going to enter particular zodiacal sign, okay, and in particular lunar month, if that is going to happen, then you know what that month should be called. What is happening this time is the new month, lunar month, is going to start on 13th of April, and on 14th of April the sun is going to enter Aries. Okay, and therefore this 13th of April is going to be the beginning of month Chaitra when it comes to lunar month, and that will be also called Chaitra Padwa, Gudi Padwa. Whereas when the sun is, if you are talking about solar month, okay, sun entering into Aries is will be referred as the Vaishakh month, okay, and therefore Punjabis or Bengalis, it will be called month of Vaishakh. That's a solar month, okay, starting from 14th of April, and that is also the beginning of the year. Okay, so the difference between the two lunar month is going to start on the new moon day, okay, and in that particular entire month from new moon day to new moon day, next new moon day, if sun is going to enter Aries, that entire month will be called Chaitra month. Now this brings some extra complications, and we need to adjust the calendar to make it synchronous. Okay, if you're using only purely lunar calendar, okay, it is observed that entire calendar drifts backwards, and you want to synchronize it because you want to celebrate festival in a particular season. And so we divide 365 with 12, we get about 30.5 days, and that is the average duration between for the sun to be in a particular zodiacal sign. Now lunar month, however, is about 29.5 days. So it is possible that once in a while, particular lunar month, the sun will not change zodiacal sign at all. Okay, and what does it mean? It means that it may have shifted from one zodiac sign to another zodiac sign on a particular day, and the next day lunar month begins. Say the new moon day takes place. Okay, and the new moon day will get over after 29.5 days, and the sun will enter the next zodiacal sign after that. So in that case, for the entire lunar month there is no transition, and if no transition, according to our nomenclature, no name for that system, that particular month. So no transition, no name, and that's the additional month, Adhika Mas. So this is also called intercalary month. So that's a way the Indian Panchang have been adjusted so that different months calibrate with the motion of the sun. Okay, motion of the moon, motion of the sun are synchronized this way. So and all that is possible because of the meticulous timekeeping of the ancient sages, their disciples. So let us pass on this culture of working towards precision to our new generation. Happy New Year again to all.
So we have the goodie now displayed.
Yeah, and incidentally, the Gudi Padwa is considered to be the beginning of spring. So therefore, a lot of enthusiasm, and Pathan would look forward to this particular festival, like all other festivals that we celebrate in a very ceremonious manner.
Start? We Pathare Prabhus are big foodies, so none of our festivals are complete without good, rich food. So today's Pathare Padwa's food is Keshri Bhat. Keshri Bhat, Tartlet mutton, and of course lots of other vegetables and sambare, sambare. So we really have a good feast. Puria, Patna Puria. So none of our festivals are without food, and we don't believe in low calorie diet.
Hello. Today we are going to talk about the Gudi Padwa. Gudi Padwa is the new year of Maharashtrians and Karnataka people, and in Andhra Pradesh it is celebrated as Yugadi, the beginning of the new Yuga, that is a year. There are many stories in Maharashtra. Actually, it is said that Satvahan dynasty, there was a king called Gautamiputra Satvahan, and he defeated Shakas, and that's why he started his own era in 78 AD or Common Era. So that is called as Shalivahan Shaka. It is a very popular theory, but the new researches and new findings on the basis of that, it is said that Chastana had established this Shaka era in 78 AD. Though whether it is Satvahan or Chastan, the Shalivan Shaka began in 78 Common Era, and they celebrated. We celebrate in a different manner, or rather a traditional manner. In Andhra Pradesh, in Karnataka, and in Maharashtra, the first day of Chaitra month, they celebrate the first day, that is a New Year day. In Maharashtra, they erect the gudis. Gudi has some symbol. Gudi is also called as a reminiscence of a Indradhvaja Mahotsav or Indradhvaja or Yupa. The stick that is called a bamboo stick, the tall bamboo stick is at the top of that tall bamboo stick is adorned with the silk cloth, maybe of green color, which is a symbol of prosperity, or with maybe of saffron color, which is a symbol of sacrifice and Hinduism. And on the top of that, the gadu or the small water pot is kept. It is either of silver or steel, and it is adorned with the garland of flowers, garland of sweet, that is called as battasa, and the leaves of kadunim. Today there is a very important use of kadunim, or the leaves of kadunim. They are used in the food. Basically, this is the beginning of the summer. Now, after the spring is almost over and the Grishma will begin after some days. So, there is a scorching sun and heat, and in this summer season, one should be prepared to bear those heat, and that's why the kadunim, the leaves of kadunim, which has a medicinal value, which is called as antibacterial value, and they are used. The people make the chutney of it with the good, or they just eat as a prasad the leaves of kadunim and jaggery. Then we put the rangolis and we decorate our houses. The guests come. We have a special food items, either Shrikanda Puri or Basundi Puri, and this is the season of mango. So we use the raw mango, not the pakka aam, but raw mango, that is a kairi. We make the chutney of raw mango or the soup of raw mango. So there are different varieties of raw mango, that is kairi, are used in as a food delicacy. Then there is another importance for this Gudi Padwa. The Chaitri Navratri begins. So we have Chaitri Navratri, 9 days of celebration from Pratipada to Navami. Those who worship Lord Rama as their family deity, they have Rama Navratra. That is, from Pratipada, they have the Navratra or worship for Lord Rama, and 9th day, that is the Chaitra Shuddha Navami, the Ram is born. So they have a celebration of birth of Ram. There is another story that on Chaitra Pratipada, the Chaitri Navratri, that is Shakta Navratri starts, and this is also celebrated in North India. The goddess is worshipped. So there are there are recitation of Durga Saptashati and all those things. In olden days, in traditional families, they used to draw the rangoli, which is called as Chaitrangan. Even today, few families draw that rangoli. This is very symbolic rangoli. They have all those symbols or pratika chinnas of prosperity, of Saubhagya. So there is sun and moon, there is a Vrindavan, that is Tulsi Vrindavan, then there is a Jnana Kamal, then there is Gopadma. All those symbols which are called as a Mangalika Chinna, they are drawn on the floor in that rangoli. And Chaitrangan is a very beautiful, delicate rangoli. Then we have on this day there is a story that the Gauri, that is a goddess Parvati comes to her Maika, that is she comes to stay with her parents for a month long vacation. So she comes on Chaitra month, in the first day of Chaitra, or sometimes according to North Indian tradition she comes on Tijo, that is on third day of Chaitra, and she stays till the Akhatij, Akshay Tritiya, that is the third day of the next month, that is a Vaishak. So the married daughter comes to the parents' home for vacation. In old days, I remember when I was a child, my mother used to take some 10 to 15 days leave in the month summer vacation and used to stay with her parents in Concord. So it was a long summer vacation. So they used to stay with their relatives, with their mother, parents, and brothers, and so on and so forth. So they enjoy the life of their childhood in their parents' house. So this is a tradition, and to commemorate that tradition, the myth or the story, as the goddess Parvati goes to her parents, this myth might have been woven. So this month-long celebration of Gauri, that is Chaitra Gaur, is also celebrated. We have Chaitra Gauri Haldi Kumkum, and all these things begins from the Gudi Padwa day. So the month of Chaitra, being the first month of the new year, has very different kinds of festivals. Right from Gudi Padwa, the first day, we have Chaitra Gauri, then Ram Navami, then Hanuman Jayanti. All those festivals are celebrated. In tradition way, even today, the Maharashtrian people celebrate this Gudi Padwa by erecting this Gudi and having the particular food delicacies. So enjoy this season of festival, and this festival is also a festival for harvest because the crop is ready. That is called as Rabi peak, and we have farmers have money, so they celebrate this. They have a jatras, yatras, and seeds festivities in villages. So this is a very interesting period. So I hope in this modern age we should we should keep in our mind the symbolism behind all these festivals, and we should celebrate these festivals. And Happy New Year to each and everyone. Enjoy the Gudi Padwa and enjoy the Chaitra month. Thank you, and I hope the Almighty will help us to come over all this pandemic situation, and the peace and prosperity may prevail in our country. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Hello friends, I'm Radha Sinha, and it's my great pleasure to talk to you all today about this festival of Bihu, which is an Assamese festival. I am basically from Tamil Nadu. My parents are from Tamil Nadu. I myself was brought up in Gujarat, and when I got married, I went to live in Assam with my husband's family, and that was when I enjoyed all the Assamese festivals and lived with the Assamese people. Today it's all about the Bihu festival. As you know, 14th of April, 14th and 15th of April is celebrated all over India in different manners. Like in Tamil Nadu and in Kerala, it is it is New Year or Vishu, and in Assam it is Bihu. Bihu is nothing but Vishu in the Assamese way of saying. We don't say wa, we say bo. So wa, Vishu becomes bi, and hu, shu becomes hu, because we don't say sh also. We always say it as kh. Like for example, if I say Sharada, it becomes Harada in Assamese. So Vishu becomes Bihu. So Bihu is the festival which is celebrated around the 14th of April. That is the New Year, the first day of the New Year. The New Year, the first month is Bahag. So it is the Bahag Bihu, like it is a Baisakhi in Punjab. It is Bahag in Assamese. So it's Bahag Bihu. Actually, there are two Bihus. One is the Magh Bihu, which is there in January. So in January, we have, like whenever we have Sankranti, we have this Magh Bihu, that is in the month of Magh. Margasish is Magh. So the Magh month, 15th of January, we have a different type of celebration. And this one, the 14th of April, 13th, 14th, 15th of April, we celebrate as Bahag Bihu. It's also called Rongali Bihu because it's a time of dancing and very colorful festivals. So let me tell you a little bit about it. Firstly, Assamese people are an agricultural community, like the rest of India also. It is an agricultural festival. So it is the time when agriculturists, the farmers, don't have too much to do. And this is a time when they really can relax for some time and spend their time in a different manner apart from working hard on their fields. So we prepare for the new year quite well in advance. It's like starting from the beginning of the month when we prepare the looms because we have to make a lot of gamusas. Gamusas are the small towels which white and red colored borders, which the Assamese people use as gamusa means to wipe the body. So they have to give new gamosas to all the family members and the relatives and give them gifts of gamosa to the dignitaries and the elder people who all come to their house. And so for that, a lot of gamosas are required. So the mother always starts her loom and then starts making the gamosas very well in advance. Also, everybody gets new clothes, so everybody's busy buying their clothes. I will buy this, I will buy that, I will do this, I will do that. So it's all about shopping here in the city. But in the villages, like, you've got to do your own stuff even there. So you've got to stitch whatever you want, whatever embroidery you have to do to prepare your dresses, you have got to do it. And put the looms together and make the whatever clothes that you want to make. Also, the time is there because they have time, they grow the silkworms. I have seen silkworms growing. The caterpillars are kept on a big bamboo sort of a plate, and then you have to give them castor leaves. So I used to pluck the castor leaves and feed it to the worms and see them gobbling it all up, lots of leaves, and then within an hour everything is gone. They eat it all up and then they convert it into cocoons. And so during the winter months, then they have to remove the things and make it into a sort of spin them into thread, silk thread, and then weave it into shawls. So that takes also a very, very long time, but then they do it as a cottage industry. I've seen that. It's really very interesting to look the way the caterpillars eat up the leaves. Boys and girls, they come together during this time and they dance. Like, I've got a background showing the girls getting dressed up and dancing, and the boys with their the gamusa tied around their head and one round their waist, and wearing tutti and kurta on top, a muga kurta. The girls are wearing muga mekhla chadar, and two boys have a dhol, and one boy is got the buffalo horn that is called a pepa. So the pepa is also played, and it's got a very peculiar pepe sound, and they all enjoy dancing and singing and right around flirting with each other. And sometimes when some boys and girls, if a boy and a girl are secretly in love, then this is the opportunity for them to get closer together. And sometimes they even elope and run away if the parents are not too willing to, they don't appear too willing to allow them to get married. So then they just, even that is allowed in the community. They are not very strict for, caste or anything. In fact, there is no caste system in Assam. Okay, by the way, absolutely no caste system. There is nothing like, upper caste and lower caste, and everybody is one only. Everything is one. That's something which is very nice. I'd like to talk to you about the kopu fool. Yeah, the kopu fool is the orchid. So this is the season for the kopu fool. Everywhere you go, suddenly the trees are quite there one day, and the next day you will find thousands of orchids blooming. These violet, purple colored orchids are there in plenty, and some of them, the very rare orchids also, you can spot high up in the tree somewhere. Beautiful yellow, beautiful orange. These are the rare orchids. You don't always see them, but then if you can spot them, then they're there for looking at. They're wonderful. They look so cute, and like some creatures, like animals or dogs or something. They look like, and very beautiful. So the girls, they make kopu full, and they tie it around their head. Generally, they tie bun, the hair into a bun, whereas in South India, we always leave our hair into long plaits. We make plaits and leave it long, whereas in Assamese, you don't find them leaving their hair long like that. They always make a bun. It is called a khopa, and then they put these orchid flowers during the festival time, and then they dance. So dancing is something which they do naturally in the fields, but nowadays in the cities you have the stage, and on the stage the performers come. They have groups of bihu dancers, tolis they call. So one after another, every toli is given a chance to dance on the stage, and then you have the best group award, and you have the best bihu kumari, the best dancer, the best female dancer, the best male dancer, the best dhol player, the best pipa player. So all those awards are given, and all famous singers, like even in Bhupen Hazarika's time, he used to come on the stage. There will be a lot of rush to see to hear him singing on the stage. So he was a great performer, and so were so many other famous performers who would come on the stage and sing. And we would wait for the evening to come, because it was in evening time, and right up to about 11 or 12 o'clock at night, festivities to go on the stage. And that is something we look forward to. It's not 1 or 2 days, okay? Never it is just 14th and 15th. It's like at least a week long, minimum a week long, the stage performances. The other activities go on throughout the month, but this one. Now, yeah. One thing was about the Goru Bihu. Goru Bihu is like the cow Bihu. I was principal in Guwahati College for some time, and then there I had declared vacation from 13th onward, because they all want to have their Bihu vacation. So 13th, I said 13th April onwards, you all go on vacation for about 10 days. Then they wanted to go on the 12th. They don't want to go on the 13th. So why is it that they want to go on the 12th? One day earlier, I said, there's nothing happening on 12th. You go on 13th. No. Why? Because there is a Goru Bihu happening. What is Goru Bihu? Goru Bihu is like, we are going to give the cows a bath. We have to give the cows a bath. So the thing that they take the cows and they take it to the river, and they scrub it clean with using urad ki dal paste and turmeric paste, and they apply it, and they scrub it, and when they're taking them to the river, they make the cow wear garland of bengan and gourds, like dudhi or something. Why do they do that? Because I don't know, but I think that because we prevent them throughout the year from eating those vegetables from growing in the vegetable patch. We make sure that they don't enter the vegetable patch. So for once a year at least, okay, let them have their feed or as many vegetables as they like. So I suppose they give them vegetable garland to eat the vegetables on their way to the river. And once they have the river bath, they they come back, and before they come enter the cow sheds again, the cow sheds are cleaned and whitewashed, and dhuna is all smoked up, and so that all the germs are driven away, all the mosquitoes are not there. So there a lot of dhuna is given uh, inside the cow shed, and then the cow is brought back. So that is the Goru Bihu. And then after that, I must talk about the eats. So many lovely things to eat. We get to, it's an eating festival, lot of things to eat. The most important thing that we eat on Bihu, in Bihu, is the Bara Sawal ka pitha. The pitha made out of bara sawal. Bara sawal is a variety of rice we get only in Assam. It is a sticky rice. In fact, it seemed that before I got married, the Korean football team had come to Guwahati, and they were invited to our house to have dinner, and they recognized this bara sawal in our house, and they said, this is the rice that we eat in Korea, and how come you have this here? No other place in India has this rice. So this particular rice is eaten in Assam during this festival. It's not very good to eat as regularly, because it's too not, I don't know, they say don't eat it because it will, you can't digest it very well. So we keep it only for the Bihu time, and we make a sort of a powder out of it, and then put it on the tawa. As soon as you put it on the hot tawa, it becomes like a stiff cake type of a thing, and in that you can stuff any nice sweet things. Normally it is sweet coconut, or it is sweet gur, sweet til, sesame seed. We put inside it and we roll it up. So these white roll like sweets we get a lot in Assam. So that's the best part of Bihu, the eatables, and lots of nice eatables. Different types of pithas are there. One pitha is called the tekli pitha. Tekli pitha is like one earthenware pot, and there's water boiling in the pot, and on the mouth of that pot, narrow mouth of the pot, we put a cloth in which we put a mixture of pithagur, that is rice flour and coconut and sugar, and mix it all up and make it into a sort of a round ball and put it inside the mouth of the tikli, that is the pot. So when it gets nicely steamed up, it becomes like a nice fat idli, which is very sweet and nice to eat. So those are really delicious sweets. Then we have laddus, coconut laddu, til laddus, like what we had in rest of India also. Til laddus and coconut laddus are made, but then their coconut laddus are something very out of this world. Very, very nice, and white and smooth laddus, nice to eat. So, lots of other good foods to eat. In fact, you have a big mela in some places, in open lands, open fields. We have these melas only for eating. All different stalls are making these different things. Like you have this bamboo, in the hollows of the bamboo, they put rice and fish and all sorts of things, and then they close the mouth of the bamboo and they put it into the fire, and when it gets nicely roasted, you can have it. So that type of a bamboo rice also is there, and so many different types of wines are there. There's rice wine made, it's called apung. I've tasted that only, I haven't had anything else, but one of my friends used to give us that apung, which is made out of fermented rice, and it doesn't give you so much of a kick, but then it's fun to have. So lots of good things to have and enjoy, and really enjoy ourselves. So I feel like all of you should get a chance and spend a Bihu once in Assam village, not so much in the city, but in the village. It's really fun if there are people left in the village. Nowadays, everybody in the village also, they want to go and have a, earn money in the cities and have a good job and that sort of a thing. The aspirations have changed, whereas other people, they like to stay in the village, and it's very self-sufficient village. You could live there forever and not require anything from the outside world. It's all completely self-sufficient. different ways of living are there. So that's all I have to say. A lot of things to say, but then I'll stop here. Thank you very much for listening.
Greetings to all. In the trying times of the pandemic, we all are stuck in the four walls of our houses. The 13th and 14th of April is going to be something different as many communities are going to celebrate their new year together. Mumbai will be full of festive colors and joy as we all would be celebrating something or the other together in these 2 days. So, we thought of presenting you all with a small video where we interview our older generations and know about the historical and mythological significance of these days. We are presenting you some communities and our friends who would be interviewing their older generations to know more about these times. So let's get started. The Telugu community celebrates Ugadi on the 13th April as the mark of the beginning of Chaitra Masa. So, today we have Mahika Kandarpa who will be interviewing her grandmother to know more about Ugadi.
What is the significance of this festival and how is it celebrated by our community?
ఇవాళ సంవత్సరాది ఈ సంవత్సరాది అంటే ఏంటంటే మనకి కొత్త సంవత్సరం మొదలవుతుంది. దీన్నే ఉగాది అని కూడా అంటారు. యుగం అంటే ఒక పెద్ద పీరియడ్, సంవత్సరం అంటే ఒక పీరియడ్. యాక్చువల్గా పెద్ద పీరియడ్ 60 ఏళ్ళ సైకిల్, అంటే 60 ఏళ్ళ సైకిల్. తర్వాత ఇవాటి నుంచి చైత్ర మాసం మొదలవుతుంది. అది దీని ఇంపార్టెన్స్. మనం ఇవాటి నుంచి కొత్త సంవత్సరం మొదలుపెడుతున్నాం. దీన్ని అందుకోసం సంవత్సరాలని కానీ ఉగాది అని అంటారు. తర్వాత మనం ఇది ఎలా సెలబ్రేషన్, ముఖ్యమైన సెలబ్రేషన్ దీనికి ఏమిటంటే మన ఉగాది పచ్చడి తింటాం పొద్దున్నే. ఈ ఉగాది పచ్చడి స్పెషాలిటీ ఏంటంటే ఇందులో 6 రుచులు ఉంటాయి. కొత్త బెల్లము, కొత్త చింతపండు, చెరుకు రసము, అరటిపండు అన్నీ కలిపి తర్వాత వేప పువ్వు వేసి పచ్చడి చేస్తారు. ఆ పచ్చడి ముందర తిని ఆ తర్వాత కాఫీ తాగడం కానీ తర్వాత ఇంకేమైనా తినడం కానీ మొదలుపెడతారు. అది ఈ ఏడాది మొదట్లో అన్ని రకాల రుచులు అంటే మనకి అన్ని అనుభవాలు మనం స్వాగతం ఇస్తాం అన్నమాట. అందుకోసం మనం ఇది సెలబ్రేట్ చేస్తాం. సెలబ్రేట్ చేయడం ఇంకోటి ఏంటంటే తొందరగా ఇది స్నానం చేయడం, తలంటి పోసుకోవడం, కొత్త బట్టలు వేసుకోవడం. ఇవాళ రోజు మనం ఎలా సెలబ్రేట్ చేస్తామో అలాగనే ఏడాదిలో ప్రతిరోజు చేస్తాం అనుకుంటాం మనం. అందుకోసం ఇవాళ రోజు చాలా సంతోషంగా పూజలు చేసుకుంటూ, పాటలు పాడుకుంటూ, డాన్సులు చేసుకుంటూ ఎంతో సంతోషంగా ఉంటాం. అది ఇవాళ రోజున సిగ్నిఫికెన్స్ ఆర్ ఇంపార్టెన్స్ ఆర్ ప్రాముఖ్యం.
Could you name any delicacies which are made of this?
మనం తెలుగు వాళ్ళం కదా, మనం తిండికి ఎక్కువ ఇంపార్టెన్స్ ఇస్తాం. అందుకోసం మనం ఏంటంటే ముఖ్యంగా పూర్ణం వేసిన పిండి వంట చేస్తారు ఇవాళ రోజున. అందుకోసం బూరెలు, బొబ్బట్లు, పులిహార, గారెలు, ఆవళ్ళు తప్పకుండా ఒక 5 పిండి వంటలన్నా చేసి దేవుడికి నైవేద్యం పెడతారు. అది మన డెలికసీ.
Okay. So is there any story which is associated with this festival?
స్టోరీ ఏంటంటే ఇది చూసే ఇప్పుడు చెప్పాను కదా, పొద్దున్న లేవడం, బట్టలు కట్టుకోవడం, తినడం, ఇదంతా ఏంటంటే మాయ. మనం ఎప్పుడు కూడా దీంట్లోనే ఎక్కువ పడిపోతాం. ఈ మాయలో ఉండి మన దేవుణ్ణి మర్చిపోతామేమో అని ఒకసారి నారదుడికి అనుమానం వస్తుంది. ఈ మనుషులందరూ ఇలా ఎందుకు మాయలో పడిపోతున్నారని. అప్పుడు నారదుడు వచ్చి కృష్ణుడు అన్నాడు కదా, మాయ అందరినీ అంటున్నావు కదా, నిన్నే ఆ మాయలో పడేస్తాను అన్నాడు అని ఒక సరస్సులో వెళ్ళి స్నానం చేయమన్నాడు. సరస్సులో వెళ్ళి స్నానం చేస్తే ఏమైందంటే ఆ నారదుడు కాస్త ఒక మందమైన యువతిలాగా మారిపోయాడు. సరే యువతిలాగా మారిపోయిన వాడు ఒక అబ్బాయిని పెళ్లి చేసుకున్నాడు. 60 మంది పిల్లలు పుట్టారు. 60 మంది పిల్లలు పుట్టానికి అప్పుడు అనుకున్నాడు కృష్ణుడు, ఇంకా ఈ నారదుడిని తన భజన మర్చిపోయాడు, తన వీణ మర్చిపోయాడు, పాటలు మర్చిపోయాడు, ఇంకా మళ్ళీ ఈ మాయ నుంచి బయటికి తీసుకురావద్దామని మళ్ళీ సరస్సులోకి వెళ్ళి స్నానం చేయమన్నాడు. స్నానం చేస్తే ఏమైందంటే మళ్ళీ నాదుడు అయిపోయాడు. అప్పుడు నాదుడు, అయ్యో కృష్ణుడు నిన్ను కూడా మర్చిపోయాను నేనని, నా పిల్లలందరూ ఏమయ్యారు అన్నారు. మీ పిల్లలందరూ ఏమవ్వలేదు, వాళ్ళకేమో నేను వాళ్ళని చిరంజీవులుగా చేశాను, వాళ్ళు 60 సంవత్సరాల కింద జీవిస్తారు. ఇవాళ ఈ 60 సంవత్సరాలకి 60 పేర్లు ఇస్తారు. ఇవాటి సంవత్సరం మనకి మొదలయ్యేది ఏంటంటే ప్లవనామం మొదలవుతుంది. యాక్చువల్గా ఈ సైకిల్ ప్రభవ వివాహ అలా మొదలవుతుంది. 60 ఏళ్ళ పీరియడ్ అన్నమాట. తర్వాత మనది ఏంటంటే యాక్చువల్గా నక్షత్రాలు కదా, ఇవన్నీ నక్షత్రాల కింద మారిపోతాయి. మన పంచాంగం కూడా ఏంటంటే లూనార్ క్యాలెండర్, అంటే ఏంటంటే మన చంద్రమాన పంచాంగం. ఈ పంచాంగం అంతా మనం ఏంటంటే చంద్రుడికి ఇదిగా ఉంటుంది అనమాట. ఇవాళ రోజున పంచాంగం విశేషం ఏంటంటే మనం పంచాంగం కూడా సాయంత్రం పూట కూర్చొని చదువుతాం, అది ముఖ్యం అనమాట. ఇదంతా ఏంటంటే ఏడాది మొత్తం అంతా ఎంత బాగా సెలబ్రేట్ చేయాలో అది ఇవాళ రోజున మనం దానికి నాంది ప్రస్తావన పడతాం, దానికి మొదలు పెడతాం. అందుకోసం ఇవాళ రోజు చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్ అనమాట.
So are there any gods or goddesses that you worship?
ఇవి యాక్చువల్గా ఏంటంటే మన అంతా ఏంటంటే మనకి తల్లి ఎక్కువ ముఖ్యం. తల్లి మాతృ ప్రధానమైన దేశం మనది. అందుకోసం మనం తల్లిని ఆరాధిస్తాం. తల్లి ఎవరు? లోకమాత లలితాదేవిని ఆరాధిస్తాం. లేదా మనం ఏంటంటే మనం చేసే పూజలు కానీ మనం చేసే పిండి వంటలు కానీ అన్నీ కూడా తల్లిని మనసులో పెట్టుకొని చేసి ఆవిడకి నైవేద్యం పెట్టి, ఆఖరి ఉగాది పచ్చడి కూడా ఆవిడకి నైవేద్యం పెట్టి అప్పుడు తింటాం. మనం ఈ ఏడాది మొదలు ఎలా పెడతామంటే తల్లితో లలితాదేవితో మొదలు పెడతాం. లలితాదేవికి నమస్కారం పెట్టి మనం అందరం సమంగా ఉండాలి, మన చుట్టుపక్కల వాళ్ళందరూ సమంగా ఉండాలని, వసుదైవ కుటుంబ కింద మనం బతకాలని అనుకొని దేవుడికి దండం పెట్టుకొని మనం ఇవ్వాలి. లలితాన్ని సమస్తాం.
So now let us know more about the Sindhi community and know how they celebrate Cheti Chand. We have Davina Bijlani who will be interviewing her aunt and tell us about how they celebrate their New Year Cheti Chand.
नमस्कार, तव्हां सभी खे चेटी चंड जी लख लख वाधायूं। मुंहिंजो पहिरियों क्वेश्चन आहे, ही छुट्टियों जो महत्व छा आहे?
चेटी चंड असांजो जो भगवान आहे साईं झूलेलाल, हुननि जो जन्म जो ॾींहुं आहे। इन करे असां चेटी चंड मल्हाईंदा आहियूं। चेटी चंड सिंधियुनि जे लाइ नयो साल हूंदो आहे। झूलेलाल भगवान खे असां इष्ट देव उंदेरो लाल बि चवंदा आहियूं। उंदेरो लाल जो मतिलबु आहे वरुण देवता जो आहिनि। असां उन ॾींहुं असां चैत्र महीने जो ॿिए ॾींहं ते असां चेटी चंड मल्हाईंदा आहियूं। असां हुननि खे दरिया शाह बि चवंदा आहियूं।
हिन छुट्टीअ खे असांजे ॿोली में छा चवंदा आहियूं, तव्हां प्लीज़ ॿुधायो।
चेटी चंड जे मौक़े ते असां सभी सिंधी भाउरनि भेणुनि खे चेटी चंड जी लख लख वाधायूं ॾींदा आहियूं।
मुंहिंजो अॻिलो क्वेश्चन आहे, तव्हां असांखे ॿुधाए सघो था असांजे समाज जा माण्हू कॾहिं कीअं इहो त्योहार मल्हाइण शुरू कयो और असां हिन त्योहार ते छा छा कंदा आहियूं?
ऐं कथा जे हिसाब सां ही 9वीं शताब्दी में चालू थियो हो। उन ॾींहं ते असां नवां कपिड़ा पाए करे मंदर में वेंदा आहियूं, टिकाणे ते वेंदा आहियूं ऐं शाम जो झूलेलाल जो बहिराणो निकिरंदो आहे। झूलेलाल जो बहिराणो अटे जो ठहियलु हूंदो आहे। हुन में असां फोटा, लौंग, फ्रूट्स ही सभु झूलेलाल भॻवान खे असां अर्पण कंदा आहियूं। नारियल, ॻाढ़ो कपिड़ो, गुल ही सभु असां झूलेलाल भॻवान खे ॾींदा आहियूं ऐं पोइ बहिराणो साहिबु असां नदी में वञी करे परवान कंदा आहियूं ऐं अखो जो थींदो आहे उहो असां सभिनि खे प्रसाद में ॾींदा आहियूं, कोयर ऐं छोलनि सां गॾु।
अॻिलो क्वेश्चन, तव्हां हिन त्योहार ते छा छा व्यंजन ठाहींदा आहियूं, छा ठाहे करे खाईंदा आहियूं? तव्हां असांखे थोरो ॿुधाईंदा तव्हां हुन में छा छा विझंदा आहियो?
चंड जे ॾींहं ते तैरी खाईंदा आहियूं। तैरी मिठा चांवर थींदा आहिनि जिन में असां खंडु ऐं ॾुंगी, बादाम, केसर ही सभु विझंदा आहियूं। साई भाॼी, मिठो लोलो, सिंधी कढ़ी, दाल पकवान सभु माण्हू पंहिंजे पंहिंजे हिसाब सां जो बि वणे उहो ठाहींदा आहिनि।
त्योहार ते छा छा विशेष पाईंदा आहियो?
हर को माण्हू पंहिंजे माहौल जे हिसाब सां पाण खे ढाले छॾियो आहे, लेकिन उहे सिंधी माण्हू कांचा पाईंदा आहिनि। त सलवार हूंदी आहे जिनो जो पावजो जो हूंदो आहे ॾाढो वॾो हूंदो आहे। अॼुकल्ह जो पाकिस्तानी ड्रेसिस जो माण्हू जो पाईंदा आहिनि हू सिंधी कपिड़ा ई हूंदा आहिनि।
नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, तव्हां हिन त्योहार ते कहिड़े कहिड़े देवी देवताउनि जी पूजा कंदा आहियो?
हिन ते झूलेलाल भॻवान जी पूजा कंदा आहियूं जो वरुण देवता जा अवतार आहिनि।
That is it. Thank you so much.
Mumbai is a place with diverse communities with their diverse cultures. We hope that this video helped you know something about the different New Year celebrations across our country. Maybe we have a lot of cultures and a lot of traditions, but we all are bound with a single thread of unity. Thank you, and we hope you like this video. Happy New Year!
नमस्कार, मी सुजाता सतीश वजे. गुढीपाडव्याबद्दल काही माहिती व्यक्त करते, माहिती सांगते. चैत्र शुद्ध प्रतिपदा म्हणजे गुढीपाडवा. गुढीपाडवा या दिवशी नवीन वर्षाचा आरंभ होतो. पैठणच्या शालिवाहनानं मातीच्या सैन्यामध्ये प्राण भरून त्या सैन्याच्या योगे शत्रूवर विजय मिळवला. त्या दिवसापासून शालिवाहन शक सुरू झालं आणि तो दिवस नवीन वर्षाचा प्रारंभ दिवस म्हणून साजरा करण्याची पद्धत सुरू झाली आणि तीच पद्धत आपण आता पुढे चालू ठेवलेली आहे आणि तो दिवस आपण गुढीपाडवा म्हणून साजरा करतो. श्रीरामाच्या चरित्रातला एक महत्त्वाचा प्रसंग म्हणजे श्रीरामांचं रावणवध आणि सीतेची सुटका केल्यानंतर अयोध्येत झालेलं पुनरागमन. श्रीराम रावणाचा वध करून सीतेची सुटका करून अयोध्येत परत आले आणि भरत हा डोळ्यात प्राण आणून श्रीरामाची वाट पाहत होता आणि श्रीराम निश्चित पोचतायत असा निरोप आल्यानंतर त्यांनी सगळं नगर शृंगारलं. प्रत्येक दारांवरती तोरणं लागली, अंगणामध्ये सडे घातले गेले, रांगोळ्या घातल्या गेल्या, दारामध्ये गुढ्या उभारल्या गेल्या आणि श्रीराम येणार म्हणून सगळी नगरी सजवली गेली. तो दिवस चैत्र शुद्ध प्रतिपदेचा होता आणि त्यानंतर आपण तीच प्रथा पुढे चालू ठेवून आपण आजही गुढी उभारतो आणि गुढीच्या जी सजावट आपण केली जाते आणि विजयध्वज म्हणून या गुढीचं आपण महत्त्व मानतो आणि ती गुढी आपण तिथे आपल्या दारांमध्ये आपण गुढी लावून आनंद साजरा करत असतो. महाभारतामध्ये गुढीचा कुठे उल्लेख आढळत नाही, तथापि श्रीकृष्णाच्या बाललीलांमध्ये कालियामर्दन झालं तो दिवस चैत्र शुद्ध प्रतिपदेचा होता असं मानलं जातं. आपण जी गुढी उभी करतो त्याच्यासाठी आवश्यक असलेल्या गोष्टी म्हणजे बांबू किंवा काठी ज्याला म्हणतो, कलश, वस्त्र, फुलांचा हार, साखरेची माळ म्हणजे बत्ताशाची माळ, कडुलिंबाचा पाला, या सगळ्या गोष्टी एकत्रित करून ही गुढी बनवली जाते. एक काठी किंवा बांबू धुवून पुसून स्वच्छ केला जातो आणि त्याला हळदी कुंकू लावतात. त्याच्यावरती नवीन भरजरी वस्त्र किंवा साडीही गुंडाळली जाते. त्याच्यासोबत कडुलिंबाचा टाळा बांधतात, चाफ्याचा हार बांधतात आणि बत्ताशाची माळही बांधतात. त्याच्यावर कलश पालथा घालतात आणि त्या कलशाला मांगल्याचं प्रतीक मानलं गेलेलं जे स्वस्तिक आहे ते स्वस्तिक या कलशावरती काढलं जातं. सूर्योदयापूर्वी ही गुढी उभारायची अशी साधारण पद्धत आहे. घरासमोर खिडकी, सज्जा अशा उपलब्ध जागेमध्ये ही गुढी तयार करून बांधली जाते. चैत्र शुद्ध प्रतिपदेच्या सूर्याच्या स्वागतासाठीच जणू ही गुढी तयार केली जाते, गुढी बांधली जाते. त्यानंतर त्या गुढीची पूजा करतात. ही गुढी अधिकाधिक उंच करावी अशी जणू चढावडच सगळ्यांमध्ये लागलेली असते. संध्याकाळी सूर्यास्तापूर्वी ही गुढी उतरवली जाते आणि त्याच्यामध्ये लावलेले बत्तासे प्रसाद म्हणून सेवन केले जातात. गुढीचं साम्य हे विजयध्वजाशी आहे. त्याचप्रमाणे गुढी हे एक सजावटीचं साधन आहे असं मानलं तरी ते वावगं ठरणार नाही, कारण आकर्षक रूपातील या गुढ्या बघून खरोखरच मन प्रसन्न होऊन जातं. गुढीपाडवा ही नवीन वर्षाची सुरुवात असल्याने 3.5 मुहूर्तांपैकी एक तो मुहूर्त मानला जातो. या दिवशी नवीन गोष्टींचा आवर्जून प्रारंभ केला जातो, जसं नवीन व्यवसाय सुरू केला जातो, नवीन जागा, नवीन वाहन खरेदी या दिवशी केली जाते. गुढीपाडवा म्हणजे सण अर्थात सागर संगीत जेवण हे आलंच. गोडाधोडाच्या जेवणामध्ये श्रीखंड, जिलबी अशा पदार्थांना या दिवशी प्राधान्य दिलं जातं. परंतु यापूर्वी म्हणजे हे जेवण करण्यापूर्वी कडुलिंबाच्या पाल्याची चटणी मात्र आवर्जून खाल्ली जाते. कडुलिंबाच्या कडू पाल्यासोबत मीठ, गूळ, आमसूल, जिरं वगैरे घालून त्याला चविष्ट केलं जातं. वर्षातून एकदा तरी हा कडुलिंबाचा पाला आपल्या पोटामध्ये जावा आणि तो अतिशय आरोग्यदायी आहे या दृष्टीने ही प्रथा पडलेली आहे आणि ती आजही बहुतांशी चालू असलेली दिसते. गणपती, नवरात्र, रंगपंचमी, होळी या सणांना स्वतःची गाण्याची एक परंपरा आहे. तथापि होळी निमित्त अशी गुढीपाडव्याला मात्र अशी काही गाणी खास ऐकिवात दिसत नाही. या दिवशी काही ठिकाणी रामकथेचं गायन केलं जातं, काही ठिकाणी गुढीपाडवा ते रामनवमी असे 9 दिवस रामलीला असे कार्यक्रम असतात. म्हणजे ह्याच्यामध्ये रामाचा पूर्ण जीवन प्रवास हा नाट्यमय स्वरूपामध्ये सादर केला जातो. गुढीपाडव्याच्या दिवशी वसंत ऋतूच्या आगमनामुळे सृष्टीमध्ये सगळीकडे चैतन्य पसरलेलं दिसतं. झाडांना नवी पालवी आलेली असते. पळस, पांगारा, गुलमोहर, चाफा ही सगळी झाडं बहरून आलेली असतात. याच दिवसामध्ये कोकिळ पंचम सूर लावून आपला आनंद वाढवीत असते. गुढीपाडवा हा प्राचीन सण असल्याने पारंपरिक पद्धतीचे वेशभूषेला प्राधान्य दिलं जातं. लहान मुली फ्रॉक घालतात, परकरपोलके घालतात. स्त्रिया बघनाची साड्या परिधान करतात. बंधुवर्ग लेंगा जब्ब्याच्या खास वेशात असतात. आपले पारंपरिक खेळ, लेझीम, ढोल याचं प्रदर्शन या सणाच्या शोभायात्रेमध्ये केलं जातं. टाळांच्या साथीने गाणी म्हटली जातात. या शोभायात्रांना अलीकडे वाढता प्रतिसाद लाभलेला दिसतो. या दिवशी हल्लीच्या काळामध्ये पाडवा पहाट सारखे सांस्कृतिक गायन कार्यक्रमही या पहाटे आयोजित केले जातात. जीवनाच्या सर्व पैलूंवर भाष्य करणाऱ्या बहिणाबाई चौधरी आपल्याला सांगतात, गुढीपाडव्याचा सण आता उभारा रे गुढी, नव्या वरसाचं देणं सोडा मनातली आडी, गेलं सालं गेली आडी, आता पाडवा पाडवा, तुम्ही येरा येरांवरी लोभ वाढवा वाढवा. अगदी खरं आहे ना हे.
मैं बिहार का रहने वाला हूँ। हमारे बिहार में हिंदी नववर्ष चैत्र मास के पहले दिन मनाया जाता है। यह त्यौहार हम हार्वेस्ट सीजन की तरह मनाते हैं और नई फसल की कटाई करते हैं और नए अन्न का खीर बनाकर भगवान की पूजा करते हैं और साथ में नए कपड़े पहनते हैं और रंगोली भी मनाते हैं और काफ़ी हर्षोल्लास के साथ यह त्यौहार मनाते हैं।
आजोबा, या महिन्याच्या 13 तारखेला गुढीपाडवा येतं, तर तुम्ही मला त्या गुढीपाडव्याबद्दल माहिती देऊ शकाल का, की कसा साजरी करायचा असतो, काय काय करतात नक्की?
हो, नक्कीच. चैत्र महिन्याची सुरुवात ज्या दिवशी होते तो दिवस म्हणजे गुढीपाडवा. महाराष्ट्रामध्ये साजरा होणारा गुढीपाडवा हा 3.5 मुहूर्तापैकी एक मानला जातो. श्री रामाने त्याच दिवशी वालीच्या त्रासातून प्रजेला मुक्त केलं. त्यासाठी घरोघरी गुढ्या उभारल्या होत्या. त्यामुळे त्या दिवसाला गुढीपाडवा असे म्हणण्यात आले. इतिहासाप्रमाणे भगवान श्रीरामचंद्रांनी रावणाचा वध केला. त्याचे प्रतीक म्हणून लोकांनी आनंदाने घराबाहेर गुढ्या उभारल्या. विजयाचं प्रतीक हे उंच असते, म्हणून गुढी उंच उभारा. 14 वर्षाचा वनवास पूर्ण करून रामचंद्र परत आले तेव्हा राज्याभिषेक झाला. तो सण गुढीपाडवा म्हणून साजरा केला जातो. असे मानले जाते की गुढीपाडवा हा सर्व वाईट शक्तींना आपल्यापासून दूर ठेवतो, आपल्या घरामध्ये सुख समृद्धीला आमंत्रित करतो. गुढीपाडव्याच्या दिवशी एक काठी घेतात. काठी कोमट पाण्याने स्वच्छ धुतली जाते. त्यानंतर त्या काठीला चंदनाचा लेप आणि हळदी कुंकू लावला जाते. काठीच्या वरील भागात नववस्त्र, चाफ्याच्या फुलांचा हार किंवा साखरेची माळ, त्यालाच आपण गाठी असं म्हणतो. त्यानंतर घराच्या उंच बाजूस पाटावर गुढी उभी केली जाते. त्या दिवशी कडुलिंबाची पाने आणि गूळ खाण्याची प्रथा आहे. कडुलिंबाला आयुर्वेदात खूप महत्त्व आहे. असे म्हणतात की मागील वर्षातील सर्व कडू गोष्टी संपवून नवीन वर्षाची सुरुवात गोडव्याने व्हावी अशी प्रथा आहे. आंघोळीच्या पानात कडुलिंबाची पाने टाकून त्या पाण्याने आंघोळ करतात. त्या दिवशी घरात दारासमोर रांगोळी काढतात. दाराला कडुलिंबाचा पाला, आंब्याचा ढाला आणि झेंडूची फुलांची माळ लावतात. त्या दिवशीचं गोड खाणं म्हणजे श्रीखंड पोळी. आणि त्या दिवशी महत्त्वाची एक गोष्ट म्हणजे असेल की त्या दिवशी असं म्हटलं जातं की कुरडई ही त्या दिवशी खावी आणि त्या दिवसापासून कुरडई खाण्यास सुरुवात करतात. असा हा गुढीपाडव्याचा सण मराठी माणसाच्या दृष्टीने फार महत्त्वाचा आहे. त्यामुळे तो घरोघरी साजरा केला जातो.
NSS युनिट ऑफ विल्सन कॉलेज आणि आज मी तुम्हाला आमच्या पश्चिम महाराष्ट्रातल्या खास संस्कृती आणि परंपरांची ओळख करून देणार आहे. म्हणजे ती मी नाही, खरं तर माझ्या परिवारातल्या स्त्रिया करून देणार आहेत. चला तर मग आपण त्यांना वेगळे वेगळे प्रश्न विचारूयात आणि त्यांच्याकडून अधिक माहिती जाणून घेऊयात. बांगडे थपले ओके. अच्छा. आणि मग ह्याच्यासाठी जात्यावरती द्यायला लागतं ना?
जात्यावर किंवा चक्कीवर जाऊन आणले तरी चालते.
किती दिवस भिजवायचे?
2 दिवस भिजवायचे तांदूळ.
अच्छा. आणि ह्या आपण पाडव्याच्या आधी करतो की म्हणजे पाडव्यासाठी खास करून असं काही?
पाडव्यासाठी नाही, उन्हाळ्यात सामान म्हणजे आपण पूर्वीपासूनच करतोय ना.
हा.
पापड,
पाडव्यासाठी
कुरवड्या, शेवाळ्या.
अच्छा. आणि मग पाडव्यासाठी आपण काही खास करतो का असं?
पाडव्यासाठी खास शेवाळ्या असतात.
अच्छा. आणि पुरणपोळी बरोबर ना?
हो.
आणि बत्ताशे लहान मुलांचे?
बत्ताशे नाही,
लहान मुलांना घालतात ते
साखरेच.
अच्छा. हार
साखरेचे हार.
ओके.
आणि
खोबरेचा आणि साखरेचा.
खाली घ्या.
खाली घेतो. बोल जरा पाठी. अच्छा ठीक आहे. आणि मग तुम्हाला काही स्पेशल सांगायचं आहे आपल्या या संस्कृती परंपरांविषयी? म्हणजे काही असं खास सांगण्यासारखं?
सांगा की ग, तुम्हाला काय देण्यात येईल?
आता सांगण्यासारखं काय आता?
મમ્મી, તમારા બચપનમાં તમે નૂતન વર્ષ કેવી રીતના મનાવતા હતા?
મેં મારા બચપનમાં નૂતન વર્ષ બહુ મજા બનાવી. અમે ખરીદી કરવા જાય, નવા કપડાં લઈએ, મીઠાઈ લઈએ, ફટાકડા લઈએ, પછી અમે નવા કપડાં પહેરીએ, મળવા જઈએ વડીલોને. અમારા ઘરે મહેમાન આવે, અમારા વડીલો આવે તો આશીર્વાદ લઈએ, જય શ્રી કૃષ્ણ કરીને મોટા બાપુના ઘરે જઈએ, માસીના ઘરે જઈએ, ફઈબાના ઘરે જઈએ, ત્યાં જય શ્રી કૃષ્ણ કરીને નવા વર્ષના અમે બધાને નૂતન વર્ષ કરીએ. અમે પછી મીઠાઈ મોટા બાપુના ઘરે ફઈબાના ઘરે જઈએ તો મીઠાઈ અમે ખાઈએ. બચપનમાં અમે બધી દોસ્ત બહુ જ મજા કરીએ. અમે
આશીર્વાદ લ્યો એટલે એના પછી તમે
પછી અમે ઘરે મહેમાન આવે તો ઘરે હળીમળીને અમે બધા સાથે જમીએ. પછી અમે જમીને પછી બપોર સાંજે અમે પછી બહાર નીકળ્યા ફરવા જઈએ, બહાર દોસ્તના ઘરે જઈએ, જમવાનું બહાર હોય અમારું. આખો દી બહુ મોજ મસ્તી કરીએ. અમારું બચપન નૂતન વર્ષનું બહુ જ સરસ હતું. બહુ જ સરસ નૂતન વર્ષ અમારું.
એટલે આપણા ગુજરાતી તહેવારોમાં તમારો સૌથી ફેવરેટ તહેવાર કયો?
ગુજરાતી તહેવાર બહુ બધું ગુજરાતી તહેવારમાં ફેવરેટ તહેવાર દિવાળી.
દિવાળીમાં બહુ મજા આવે.
બહુ મજા આવે.
બધાને મજા આવતી હોય છે.
દિવાળીમાં તો મજા જ આવે. બધું નવીન ખાવાનું મળે, નવા દોસ્ત મળે. નૂતન વર્ષના દિવસે વહેલા અમે ઉઠીએ 4 વાગે, પછી બધું સાફ સફાઈ કચરા પોતા કરીએ અમે, પછી રંગોળી બનાવીએ, નાહી ધોઈને પછી નવા કપડાં પહેરીએ. નૂતન વર્ષના દિવસે સવારમાં 4 વાગે ઉઠી ફટાકડા ફોડી, ચવાણું, ભાખરવડી.
આખા દિવસમાં?
ના, સવારના ભાગે અમે મળવા જઈએ, મોટા બાપુના ઘરે જઈએ, સગા સંબંધીના ઘરે જઈએ તો પેડા, બરફી, જાંબુ, કાજુ કતરી, ચીવડું.
સવારના નાસ્તામાં એટલે તમે ખાતા હતા?
બધી આઈટમ, ફરસાણની બધી આઈટમ હોય, મિષ્ટાનની બધી આઈટમ ખાઈએ. બપોરના જમવામાં દાળ ભાત શાક પૂરી રોટલી રોટલા અથાણું ગુજરાતી થાળી જોઈએ અમારી આપણી સાંજે બધા નાસ્તો સાંજે કરીએ બધા મહેમાન હોય ઘરે.
સાંજે તમે ફરવા ક્યાં ક્યાં જતા? એટલે
આપણે જામનગરમાં પ્રખ્યાત લાખોટી તળાવ છે ત્યાં ફરવા જઈએ. પછી મેળામાં બેસીએ. લાખોટી તળાવમાં આપણે બેઠા હોય.
લાખોટા તળાવે એટલે આરામથી બેઠા હોય.
રામ મંદિર છે, રામ મંદિરના દર્શન કરવા જાય. રામ મંદિરમાં
તમે ને તમારી બેનપણીઓ ને એ બધા હોય ને
સહેલી દોસ્ત બધા દોસ્ત.
એટલે ટૂંકમાં આખી સાંજ અહીંયા કાઢતા. પછી રાતના
સાંજે પછી ઘરે આવી જાય તો પછી જમવા જાય. આપણે ફ્રેન્ડના ઘરે જમવા જાય. જમવામાં મિષ્ટાન હોય, કઢી ખીચડી.
રાતના જમવામાં
કઢી ખીચડી હોય, રાતના જમવા મિષ્ટાન હોય. મજા આવી જાય.
બરાબર.
નૂતન વર્ષના સવારથી બપોરનો સાંજનો આખો દિવસ મોજ મસ્તી જ હોય બચ્ચોમાં કરવામાં. રમવાનું, ખાવાનું, પીવાનું,
ફટાકડા
ફોડવાના,
નવા કપડાં પહેરવાના,
મોજ મસ્તી કર, ટેન્શન ફ્રી. આજના છોકરાને તો બસ દિવાળીને કાંઈ કરવા ન દઈએ. ફટાકડા ન ફોડો, આટલી મીઠાઈ ન ખાવો, આટલો ઠંડો ન પીવો, આમ ન થાય. અમને કોઈ રોકઠોક જ હતી જ નહીં. ઠંડા પીડા ખાવા પીવા મિષ્ટાનમાં ફરવા
બધા જુલમ અમારી ઉપર જ કરવાના. એટલે
કાંઈ હતી જ નહીં રોકઠોક જ. જલસા જ હતું બચપનમાં અમારે. આજના બિચારા છોકરાને બચપનમાં બહુ જ બચપન આટલું બધું જલસાવાળો નથી. આમાં તો કોરોના આવી ગયા એટલે માણસને પૂરો થઈ ગયા. કોરોનામાં
મજા આવી મમ્મી. થેન્ક યુ.
हरिओम, मेरा नाम जसोदा है, जसोदा लक्ष्मी दास भानुशाल है। हम गांव के कच्छ के रहने वाले हैं।
और आपका शादी?
मेरे शादी के 65 साल हो गए। मेरी उम्र 65 साल हो गई और शादी को 50 साल हो गए। 15 साल में मेरी शादी हो गई थी और बाद में 3 बच्चे भी है, बड़े हो गए, अभी शादीशुदा है। पोते डोते सब अच्छे से चल रहा है। मैं सब अच्छे परिवार में रहते हैं हम लोग।
अच्छा, पहले के जमाने का खाना?
पहला खाना बहुत अच्छा था। वो खेत में सब सब्जियां क्या हो गए, चावल है, वो सब खेत में ही होते थे। अब तो सब तैयार मिलता है तो उसमें कुछ सवाल भी ज्यादा नहीं आता। वो आंगन में भी सब्जी लगाते थे, वो चुन चुन कर घर में रखते थे। और दादी जी बहुत अच्छे मम्मी बना रही थी। मम्मी भी साथ में खेत पे जाती थी पापा के साथ में, और दादी अच्छे से खाना बनाती थी। बाजरे की रोटी और मक्खन दे दिया और छाछ का गिलास दे दिया, एक तो पेट भर के खाते थे। कभी कुछ बीमारियां भी नहीं आई। बहुत अच्छे से चल रहा था, अभी तक अच्छे से ही चल रहा है। अभी उम्र के प्रमाण थोड़ा बहुत चालू रहता है, वो दवाई खाकर जी रहे हैं, क्या करेंगे क्या।
और पहले मंदिर वो सब?
तो मंदिर पहले तो कम जाते थे, अब वो ये तो खेत पे जाते थे काम करने के लिए। बाद में 40 साल के बाद में थोड़ा बच्चों की शादी हुई तो फ्री हो गई, तो तब से मंदिर में भी जाती हूँ और भजन कीर्तन भी उधर करती हूँ। सत्संग 15 दिन में एक बार एकादशी को रहता है। घर में भी थोड़ा बहुत कर लेती हूँ। ठीक चल रहा है सब अच्छे से। परिवार हमारा जॉइंट फैमिली है, आज भी 15 व्यक्ति है, घर में ही है, तो सब कुछ ठीक चल रहा है अच्छे से।
और कपड़ों पे क्या बोलना है?
पहले तो कपड़े 2 जोड़ी रहता था तो 1 साल भर चलाना पड़ता था। अभी तो साल में तो 10 जोड़ी खरीदो और 15 खरीदो तो भी ऐसा लगता है और खरीदो ऐसा ही हो रहा है। चलता है। वो गई मायके तो भाई साड़ी लाई तेरे लिए पहनो, ठीक है। तो अच्छे से सब चल रहा है।
और गानों पे क्या कहना है? पहले के जमाने के गाने कैसे थे और अभी
हाँ
सब
पहले
याद है गाने?
हमारा तो ऐसे तो अभी तक गुजराती में चल रहा है, लेकिन इधर आकर सब मराठी सीखनी पड़ी और हिंदी भी सीखनी पड़ी। थोड़ा बहुत इंग्लिश में ओके बोल देते ज्यादा तो नहीं आता, दूसरी तक पढ़ी हूँ कि कैसे आएगा ज्यादा, तो भी अभ्यास कर लेती हूँ थोड़ा बहुत बैठ बैठ के। और मैं ओम शांति में जाती हूँ, ब्रह्मा कुमारी विश्वविद्यालय में, वहाँ सब कुछ अच्छे से चल रहा है। और मेरी मुरली भी कभी सुनबीन में रहती नहीं, ऑनलाइन पे आती है मोबाइल में, कभी जा सकती कभी सेंटर में नहीं जा सकती, तो घर पे भी सुन लेती हूँ। ये सेंटर तो हमारे आसपास में ही रहा है ब्रह्मा कुमारी का, बहुत अच्छे से चल रहा है। भाई बहन सब एक साथ में, ब्राह्मण परिवार, ब्राह्मण चोटी है कुछ हमारा खान पान अलग नहीं है।
और खेल कूद में सब कैसे?
खेल कूद में बहुत अच्छे गीत गाते हैं, ऐसे गुनगुनाते हैं, भगवान का शुक्रिया अदा करते हैं, भगवान सबको ऐसा ही देना जो हमारा सुख है ऐसे सबको मिले।
पहले सब साथ में घर पे जब रहते थे तब वरांडा पे सब आप सब साथ में खेलते थे?
हाँ साथ में खेलते थे। मेरे मायके में तो हम 5 बहनें या 3 भाई, तो सब छोटे छोटे तो दूसरे लोग बोलते थे चलो बाल मंदिर हो गया इसके घर पे, तो अभी टीचर आ जाएगा पढ़ाने के लिए। तो कभी कभी ट्यूशन भी जाते थे, कभी सर घर पे भी आते थे पढ़ाने के लिए, उस पास में ही रहता था। तो बोलते थे दूसरी तक पढ़ी तो भी अच्छे से थोड़ा बहुत हिंदी वगैरह सब कुछ आता है मुझे, ज्यादा नहीं आता लेकिन समझ लेती हूँ। आपकी इंग्लिश भी थोड़ी बहुत ओके बोल रहे तो ऐसा लगा कि ठीक है, मुझे अच्छा लग रहा है।
अच्छा, और पहले का स्कूल सब और अभी कैसा लग रहा है आपको?
पहले से तो अभी तो बहुत अच्छे स्कूल है, इधर बच्चे लोग जाते। पहले तो हमारे तो गांव में एक ही स्कूल था, वो भी गुजराती 5 तक, और 7वीं में आए तो दूसरे गांव जाना पड़ता था। तो माँ बाप बोलते, दूसरे दादा दादी बोलते थे लड़की की ज्यादा पढ़ने की क्या जरूरत है, वो तो ससुराल जाएगी रोटी बनाएगी, बस हुआ दूसरे गांव में ही भेजने का है। तो वही गांव में 5 तक है, कौन से गांव में 7 तक थी कन्या शाला, उसे पढ़ाई। लड़के जाते थे बाद, वो भी 10-12 तक ज्यादा नहीं पढ़े कोई भी तरह। अभी बाप का धंधा संभाल रहे हैं, जो छोटा बड़ा है उसमें खुश है।
अच्छा, और पहले सब गरबा सब साथ में खेलते थे?
हाँ साथ में खेलते थे। अभी गाँव जाते हैं तो साथ में खेलते हैं, अभी तो चला जाता नहीं जाता तो भी बोलते लोग पहले कैसे खेलते थे, अब चल हमारे साथ में खेल। तो खड़ी हो जाती हूँ, 2 राउंड हुआ तो बैठ जाती हूँ, माँ को पढ़ के आरती वगैरह करते, बैठ के गाना भी गाते, गुनगुनाते ऐसे माँ का गीत
सब साथ में मिलकर।
माँ का हाँ
ठीक है, हो गया, थैंक यू।
हरिओम।
सर्वांना माझा नमस्कार। गुढीपाडवा हा हिंदू धर्मातील खूप महत्त्वाचा सण आहे। गुढी म्हणजेच विजय ध्वज किंवा विजय पताका। अशी ही शुभ गुढी उभारण्यामागे 2-3 महत्त्वाची कारणे आहेत। ब्रह्मदेवानी चैत्र शुद्ध प्रतिपदेस सृष्टी निर्माण केली। फार पूर्वी चैतन्यहीन व निर्जीव झालेल्या समाजात शालिवाहन ह्या राजाने अलौकिक पराक्रम केला। त्याच्या दिव्यशाली शौर्याची स्मृती कायम राहावी म्हणूनच पाडव्याला शक कालगणना सुरू झाली। तसेच अजून एक पौराणिक संबंध पण आहे। प्रभू रामचंद्रांनी 14 वर्ष वनवास भोगून ह्याच शुभ दिनी अयोध्येत प्रवेश केला। त्यांच्या स्वागताप्रित्यर्थ सर्वांनी विजयध्वज किंवा विजय पताका आपापल्या दारी उभारल्या। म्हणून पुढे कायमच गुढी उभारण्याची परंपरा सुरू झाली। 3.5 मुहूर्तांपैकी एक असल्याने अनेक शुभ कामांची, प्रकल्पांची किंवा संकल्पांची सुरुवात ही ह्या दिवसाने करावी। ह्या दिवशी नवीन संवत्सर सुरू झाल्याने पंचांगाची पूजा तसेच पंचांगांचे वाचन केल्याने अनेक फळे पदरात पडतात। ह्याच निमित्त आपण एक विश्व प्रार्थना म्हणून
सर्वेपि सुखिनः सन्तु सर्वे सन्तु निरामया सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखमाप्नुयात्.
Hi friends, my name is Nirmala. I come from Kerala and I wish you and your family a very happy and prosperous Vishu. On this occasion, I would like to share some memories and some important significant details of celebrate Vishu and enjoy it throughout the year, especially on this day with our family and friends.
Hello everyone, I'm going to talk to you all about the significance of Vishu in the state of Kerala. Vishu is the day of Mesha Sankranti or Mesha Sankrama. It is a family festival during when Lord Vishnu is worshipped. Vishu Kani, Vishu Kainitam and Vishu Bhalam are the most significant aspects of this festival. What is Vishu Kani? Vishu Kani means the first thing that one sees on waking up on the day of Vishu. It is a ritual in which the prayer room is set alight with traditional bell-shaped metal lamps called Nilavilakku or Thookuvilakku, and the house is decorated by the women of the house on the previous night of Vishu. All the auspicious objects that are considered a sign of prosperity are collected in a bell-shaped metal urn called Uruli and are placed in front of Lord Krishna and Lord Vishnu. In these objects include the holy book of Hindus, a new cloth or dhoti, some beautiful konna flowers that are yellow in color, betel leaves, betel nuts, raw rice, fresh lemon, cucumber, vegetables, coconut, kajal, a metal mirror and currency notes or coins are to be first seen. The devotees believe that the Vishu Kani brings luck and prosperity, and that's why they get the first sight of the auspicious objects. As a common belief, the devotees also visit Guruvayur Sri Krishna temple or Shabrimala Ayyappan temple for Vishu Kani Karcha and get Vishu Kainitam, which are coins of prosperity. Vishu Sadhya and Vishu Padaka. The Vishu celebrations are incomplete without Vishu Sadhya and Vishu Padaka. The grand feast of Vishu Sadhya marks its significant style with traditional cuisines including Vishu Kanyi, which is a porridge made of rice, coconut milk and some spices. Vishu Katta, served with jaggery and is made of rice powder, salt and coconut milk. Vepin Purasam, that is made of neem. Mambada Pulisheri, a sour soup made of mangoes. And a Toran, which is a side dish. Each cuisine has its distinctive taste and is savoured with great joy by the people during Vishu celebrations. Vishu Padakam or crackers and lights are an important part of Vishu celebrations, and they add to the glamour and mood of the festivities. Children burst crackers from morning after seeing Vishu Kani, and this continues throughout the day. The joy of festivities can be seen clearly across Kerala. People dressed in new clothes called Pudukodi and jewelry visit temples, and elders give them Vishu Kainitam or the coin of prosperity, which is believed to be the blessing of Prakriti, Shakti and Lakshmi to the younger generations, including women, children, servants and tenants, and bless them for a prosperous year ahead. Young men and women, also wearing dried banana leaves and masks, are disguised as chori, entertain the people by their performances and collect revolts from every house, and then enjoy at the New Year's fest called the Vishu Vela. Thank you so much.
This particular festival is also a favorite one among the children, because on that particular day from the elders of the family they get lot of gifts which
is basically a pocket money for the kids without asking their parents.
Hello one and all, let me tell you what I do on Vishu. My mom wakes me up and covers my eyes. She takes me near the Vishukani and we pray together. Then my father gives me Vishukainitam and we eat delicious sadhya. If we were in the village, I would get more Vishukainitam from my grandparents, uncle, auntie and my other relatives. And then in the evening we go to the temple and watch the celebrations. Thank you.
Now, celebration of Vishu has changed over the years. In the olden times, people in rural areas of Kerala celebrated it with lot of pomp and glory and lot of rituals. But with people moving from the cities for placing of their work and the parents and going out for studies and settling abroad, Vishu has almost reduced to only the Vishukani early in the morning.
Now I'm going to sing a few lines of a song called Kani Kanam Neram, which is a famous song that people sing in Kerala during Vishu. Kani Kanam Neram Kamala Netrande Niramerum Manyatu Kijati Kanaga Kingini Valagal Modiram Aninyu Kanenam Bhagavane Kani Kanum Neram Kamala Netrande Niramerum Manyatu Kijati Kanaga Kingini Valagal Modiram Aninyu Kanenam Bhagavane Malarmadin Kandan Vasudevatmajan Pularkale Padi Kuraludi Chilu Chile Yennu Kilangum Kanjana Chilambitodi Vakani Kana ശിശുക്കളായുള്ള സഖിമാരും താനും പശുക്കളെ മേച്ചു നടക്കുമ്പോൾ വിശക്കുമ്പോൾ വെണ്ണ കവർന്നൂണും കൃഷ്ണൻ അടുത്തു വാ ഉണ്ണി കണി കാണാൻ കണി കാണും നേരം കമലനേത്രന്റെ നിറമേറും മഞ്ഞത്തുകിൽ ചാർത്തി കനക കിങ്ങിണി വളകൾ മോതിരം അണിഞ്ഞു കാണേണം ഭഗവാനേ. താങ്ക് യു.
नमस्कार, मी अश्विनी माने. सर्वप्रथम तुम्हा सर्वांना गुढीपाडव्याच्या मनःपूर्वक शुभेच्छा. गुढीपाडव्याचा दिवस म्हणजे चैत्र शुद्ध प्रतिपदा. या दिवशी हिंदू नववर्षाला आरंभ होतो. देशभरात वेगवेगळ्या नावांनी हा सण साजरा होतो. 3.5 शुभ मुहूर्तांपैकी एक असलेला हा दिवस म्हणजे खरं तर वसंताची चाहूल. वसंत ऋतू आणि गुढीपाडवा दोन्ही वातावरणात आनंदाचा बहर घेऊनच येतात. पाडव्याला शोभायात्रांमध्ये पारंपरिक वेशभूषा, मातीतील खेळ, चित्ररथ यांच्यासोबत आपली मराठी संस्कृती दिमाखात मिरवत असते. यंदा टाळेबंदी आणि कोरोनाच्या संकटामुळे हा असा पाडवा आपल्याला अनुभवता येणार नाहीये. पण या व्हिडिओतून आपण अनुभवणार आहोत साहित्यातून अनुभवाला येणारा गुढीपाडवा. मराठी वाङ्मयात आपल्याला या गुढीपाडव्याचा उल्लेख कुठे कुठे दिसून येतो हे आपण बघूयात. रामायण, महाभारत, पुराण यातील पाडव्याचे संदर्भ आपण ऐकले आणि वाचले असतीलच. मध्ययुगीन मराठीमध्ये संत काव्यात आपल्याला प्रामुख्याने गुढीचा उल्लेख आढळतो. सर्वात प्रथम संत ज्ञानेश्वरांच्या ज्ञानेश्वरीमधील 4थ्या अध्यायातील ही 52वी ओवी पाहूया. अधर्माची अवधी तोडी, दोषांची लिहिली फाडी, सज्जनां करवी गुढी, सुखाची उभवी. याचा अर्थ भगवंत जेव्हा अवतार धारण करून येतात तेव्हा ते सर्वत्र बोकाळलेला अधर्म आधी नष्ट करतात. दोषांनी बरबटलेल्या जनांना सन्मार्गाला लावून त्या दोषांचे निराकरण करतात व संत सज्जनांकरवी जगात सुखाची गुढी उभारतात. पुढे 6व्या अध्यायात 52व्या ओवीत माऊली म्हणतात, एके संन्यासी तोची योगी, ऐसी एक वाक्यतेची जगी, गुढी उभविली अनेगी शास्त्रांतरी. इथे श्रीकृष्ण अर्जुनाला सांगतात, संन्यासी तोच योगी. संन्यास योगाची विजय पताका अनेक शास्त्रांनी फडकवलेली आहे. ज्ञानेश्वरी अध्याय 14 आणि ओवी 410. माझी अवसर चिंता फेडी, विजयाची सांगे गुढी, एरू जीवी म्हणे सांडी, गोठी या. संजय व धृतराष्ट्र यांच्या संवादात धृतराष्ट्र अधीरपणे संजयाला म्हणतात, तू आधी मला वाटणारी काळजी दूर कर, दुर्योधनाच्या विजयाची शुभवार्ता मला दे. इथे दोन्ही उदाहरणात गुढी हे विजयाचे रूपक म्हणून वापरलेले दिसते. म्हाईम भटांच्या लीळा चरित्रात देमती तुरंगम आरोहणीमध्ये तेथ बाईसाचे भाचे दाये नाईक होते, ते या पुढे सांगितले, मग तेही सडा मार्जन करविले, चौक रंग माळिका भरविलिया, गुढी उभविली, उपहाराची आयती करविली, आपण घोडे घेऊनही समोर आले. लीळा 208 मधील हा उल्लेख आहे. त्या ठिकाणी म्हणजे सावळदेव, आजचे बुलढाणा येथे बाईसांचे भाचे दायनायक राहत होते. त्यांना जेव्हा कळलं की सर्वज्ञ चक्रधर स्वामी त्यांच्याकडे येणार आहेत, तेव्हा आनंदाने सर्व तयारी करत त्यांनी गुढीही उभारली. पुढे संत चोखा महाराज म्हणतात, टाळी वाजवावी गुढी उभारावी, वाट हे चालावी पंढरीची. हाताने टाळ्या वाजवा, गुढी उभारा व पंढरीची वाट नामगजरात चालू लागा. आपण या सर्व उल्लेखांवर एक नजर टाकली तर लक्षात येईल की इथे गुढी हे अतीव आनंदाचे, उत्साह, समृद्धीचे रूपक म्हणून वापरण्यात आलेले आहे. याचे कारण म्हणजे चैत्र महिना हा वसंत ऋतूचा काळ. या काळात सर्जनाची प्रक्रियाच वातावरणातील आनंद वाढवत असते. त्यामुळे आल्हाद, उत्साह सर्वत्र व्यापून राहिलेला असतो, जो गुढी या प्रतीकातून व्यक्त केला जातो. संत तुकोबांनी सुद्धा आपल्या लिखाणात गुढीपाडव्याचा उल्लेख केलेला आहे. तुकाराम महाराजांनी श्रीकृष्णांच्या बाललीलांचे वर्णन करणारे जे अभंग लिहिले आहेत, ते शासकीय गाथेत अखेरचे 100 अभंग आहेत. त्यांना बालक्रीडेचे अभंग म्हणतात. त्यात किमान 5 वेळा गुढ्या उभारण्याचा उल्लेख आलेला आहे. गोकुळीच्या सुखा अंत पार नाही लेखा, बाळकृष्ण नंदाघरी आनंदल्या नरनारी, गुढिया तोरणे करीती कथा गाती गाणे. 2839व्या ओवीत तुकाराम महाराजांनी लिहिलंय, रोमांच गुढिया डोलविती अंगे, भावबळे खेळविती सोंगेरे, तुका म्हणे कंठ सद्गतीत दाटे, या विठोबाच्या अंग संगेरे. पुढे आणखी एका ओवीत ते लिहितात, आली दारा देखे हरुषाची गुढी, सांगितली गुढी हरुषे मात. कृष्ण गोकुळात आल्यावर तिथे किती आनंदाचं वातावरण होतं हे सांगताना तुकाराम महाराज म्हणतात, ब्रह्मानंदे लोक सकळ नाचती, गुढिया उभविती घरोघरी. तुकोबारायांच्या एका अभंगात त्यांनी म्हटलंय, पुढे पाठविले गोविंदा गोपाळा, देऊनी चपळा हाती गुढी. असाही गुढीचा उल्लेख तुकाराम महाराजांच्या रचनांमध्ये आपल्याला आढळून येतो. संत जनाबाई आपल्या एका रचनेत लिहितात, राया प्राप्ती झाला पट, गुढी उभवी वाशिष्ट. तर संत एकनाथ महाराज म्हणतात, उभवुनी सायुज्याची गुढी, परापरथडी पावले. संत एकनाथांच्या काव्यात विविध रूपक घेऊन गुढी हा शब्द वापरला गेलेला दिसतो. जसं की हर्षाची उभवी गुढी, ज्ञातेपणाची, भक्ती साम्राज्याची, यशाची, रामराज्याची रोकडी, भक्तीची, जैताची, वैराग्याची, भावार्थाची, स्वानंदाची, सायुज्याची, निजधर्माची इत्यादी रूपकांच्या गुढ्या आपल्याला पाहायला मिळतात. विष्णुदास नामा यांच्या अभंगात गुढीपाडव्याच्या दिवसाचा उल्लेख गुढीयेसी असा होताना दिसतो. रामाच्या अयोध्येस परत येण्याच्या प्रसंगाशी या अभंगात संगती लावली गेल्याचं दिसतं. तो अभंग असा आहे, आनंदू ओ माये नगरी उत्सव, आजी येईल रामराव, मोतिया तांदूळ कांडिती बाळा, गाती वेळोवेळा रामचंद्र, अजिंक्य जिंकोनी आले कौसल्यानंदन, धन्य आजी दिन सोनियाचा, कनक दंड चवऱ्या ढळताती रामा, विष्णुदासनामा गुढी येसी. आतापर्यंत आपण जे दाखले पाहिले ते मध्ययुगीन मराठीतील आहेत. अर्वाचीन वाङ्मयातही आपल्याला गुढीपाडव्याचा उल्लेख आढळतो. कवयित्री बहिणाबाई चौधरी या गुढी उभारणी या कवितेतून गुढीपाडव्याचे अहिराणी बोलीतून वर्णन करतात. गुढीपाडव्याचा सण आता उभारा रे गुढी, नव्या वरसाचं देणं, सोडा मनातली आढी. गेलं साली गेली आढी, आता पाडवा पाडवा, तुम्ही येरा येरांवरी लोभ वाढवा वाढवा. लोकगीतांमधील स्त्रियांच्या गीतांमध्येही गुढीपाडव्याचं वर्णन येताना दिसतं. गुढीपाडव्याला उंचे गुढी उभवावी, कुळाची कीर्ती जावी दाही दिशा. गुढीपाडव्याला गुढी उंच उभी करी, खण घाली जरतारी गोपू बाळ. गुढीपाडव्याला कडू लिंब खाती, आधी कडू मग प्राप्ती अमृताची. गुढीपाडव्याला घरोघरी गुढी, पडू दे माझी कुडी देवासाठी. संत वाङ्मय आणि लोकगीतातील या उल्लेखांसोबतच मंगला गोखलेंची ही गुढीपाडव्याची कविता, ज्यात त्या लिहितात, घराघरांवर उभारूया गुढी, मनामनातील सोडून अडी. संदेश असा हा देई मानवा, चैत्र प्रतिपदा गुढीपाडवा. आपण पाहिलं की मध्ययुगीन साहित्यापासून अगदी आतापर्यंत गुढीपाडव्याचा उल्लेख आपल्याला वाङ्मयामध्ये सापडतो. साहित्यातून संस्कृतीचे संदर्भ येत असतात. साहित्यातूनच सण उत्सवांची ओळख आपल्याला अधिक जवळून होत असते. त्याच अनुषंगाने मराठी वाङ्मयातील गुढीपाडव्याचे हे काही प्रातिनिधिक दाखले. धन्यवाद. पुन्हा एकदा आपणा सर्वांना गुढीपाडव्याच्या शुभेच्छा.
Hello everyone. At the onset, I congratulate the Mumbai Research Center of the Asiatic Society of Mumbai for coming up with this innovative idea of video documenting the customs and rituals associated with the festival of New Year as observed by various communities residing in Mumbai. I am Naina Tadwalkar. I am an art historian and a museologist. My doctoral research was on the topic of ephemeral floor art of India, popularly known as Rangoli. Today I'm going to talk about a distinctive Rangoli called Chaitrangan. In lunar religious calendars, Chaitra is the first month of the new year and Angan means courtyard. So the Rangoli is named as Chaitrangan. The first day of Chaitra is celebrated as New Year's Day, known as Gudi Padwa in Maharashtra. Chaitra is considered to be a very auspicious month in which the creation of the universe began. As per the beliefs, God Brahma created the universe on the first day of the month of Chaitra, gradually including planets, stars, seasons, days, and years. This is the time when many flowering plants bloom and young animals mate. Thus, it's a period of new beginnings. To mark these new beginnings, women in Maharashtra draw the Chaitrangan Rangoli in their courtyard or threshold. Let me share some images of Chaitrangan. Now, this Rangoli, which is unique to the state of Maharashtra, is also known as Teestin Chaitrangan. There are two reasons for this. One is that traditionally it was drawn for 33 days, that is, beginning from the auspicious New Year day of Gudi Padwa to Akshay Tritiya, which is another auspicious day in the Hindu calendar. The second reason for calling it Teestin Chaitrangan is that 33 symbols are to be drawn in it. The symbols may vary from day to day and from artist to artist, but the basic theme of drawing symbols of creation and fertility along with some religious symbols is followed. Unlike other rangolis of Maharashtra, Chaitrangan is drawn freehand without the use of dots. The common symbols are cradle, sun, moon, stars, swastik, 5 figures of young girls, that is Kumarikas, weapons and attributes of Vishnu and Shiva like Trishul, Dambru, Chakra, Gada, Padma, Shankha, Garuda, Tulsi plant, and Kalash. Animals like elephant, horse, tortoise, snake, footprints of goddess Lakshmi, and those of the holy cow are also included. Invariably, a house-like structure is drawn in the center with 2 goddesses, Jyeshta Gauri and Kanishta Gauri, sometimes shown seated on swings. These goddesses are surrounded by their accessories like a fan, comb, mirror, container of haldi and kumkum, ornaments, sari, etc. The seasonal mango and other fruits also find a place in it. The arrangement of motifs in the Chaitrangan Rangoli are a sort of picture writing and reflect the desire of the woman who draws them for the general well-being and prosperity of her household and herself. It is said that whatever of the past that enriches the present will find a place in it. Despite time and space constraints in cities like Mumbai, the drawing of Chaitrangan is still practiced by some women, albeit in an innovative and efficient manner. I would end my talk with a small clip about Chaitrangan by Mrs. Archana Joshi from Dadar, Mumbai. Mrs. Joshi, with her firm belief in her family traditions, has not only continued the practice of making rangolis, but also strives to pass it on to the next generation.
नमस्कार. नमस्कार. मी अर्चना श्रीकांत जोशी, दादर, मुंबई येथे राहते. आज मी तुम्हाला चैत्रांगणाविषयी माहिती सांगणार आहे. अंगण हे घराचं आभूषण. अंगण म्हणजे समाजाने एकत्र यायचे, खास करून स्त्रियांना त्यांच्या कलागुणांचा वाव मिळण्याचे ठिकाण. मग रखरखत्या उन्हात चैत्र महिना बहार घेऊन येतो आणि पान गळती होऊन आलेली चैत्र पालवी मनाला उभारी घेऊन जाते. तेव्हाच लाडक्या माहेरवाशिणीच्या रूपानं चैत्र गौरीचं आगमन होत. तिच्या स्वागतासाठी घरापुढील अंगण सारवून त्यावर वैशिष्ट्यपूर्ण रांगोळी काढली जाते आणि त्या रांगोळीला चैत्रांगण म्हणतात. अन्नपूर्णा म्हणजे साक्षात पार्वती. पूजेमध्ये तिला विशिष्ट आसनावर बसवून छान छान आरास करून आंबाडाळ, पद्म, कलिंगडाच्या फोडी, गोडाधोडाचा नैवेद्य असं सर्व दाखवून मनोभावे पूजा करतात. सुवासिनी, नातेवाईक यांना हळदी कुंकवासाठी निमंत्रित केले जाते. आता 64 कला आणि 64 योगिनी अशी कल्पना या रांगोळीमध्ये आहे. पार्वतीला शोभेल अशी तिची शस्त्र म्हणजे शंख, चक्र, गदा, पद्म, तिची वाहनं गाय, हत्ती, कासव, नाग, गरुड, तिची सौभाग्य लेणी, फणी, करंडा, आरसा, मंगळसूत्र, बोटीचं सामान, दारापुढे तुळशी वृंदावन, ओम स्वस्ती, आंबा, श्रीफळ अशी फळं, उंबर, पिंपळ असे पूजनीय वृक्ष, अशी आपल्या संस्कृतीची प्रतीक म्हणजे चैत्रांगण. आणि हो, यात गौरीचा लाडका लेक गणरायही आहे, कारण तो आपल्या आईला घरी नेण्यासाठी सोबत आलेला आहे. आता अंगण लोप पावलेल्या शहरामध्ये जागेअभावी सुटसुटी साच्याची रांगोळी काढली जाते. एकंदरीत काय हो, घराला घरपण देण्यात आणि अंगणाची फुलबागेत रूपांतर करण्याची किमया नक्कीच स्त्रियांमध्ये आहे. होय ना? नमस्कार.
Thank you.